Okay guys, welcome back to FingerCramp's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Baby's Guide. This is part 5 and we're going to discuss movement. But before we do that, as usual, I want you to go back and watch part 4, which is titled Weapon of Choice. I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that and then we'll get into it. So, alright, you guys had enough time, so let's get into it. Alright guys, so today we're dealing with movement. Now movement deals with anything that positions your character further across the screen or advancing backwards or upward or any 8-way direction. That would deal with a character's dash, jump, walk speed, and flight mode. And even honorable mentions, there are some characters who have teleports and normals that advance them forward. Alright guys, for our first topic of the day, we're going to discuss dashing. Now you're probably wondering what happened to walking. Well, unfortunately in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, walking is just about as important as links are. And you're not going to be using it unless you're in a special rare situation where you need some sort of intense positioning and so on and so forth, just like links. Well anyway, let me get to defining dashing for you. Now dashing is really cool because it accelerates your character forward or backwards further than he would normally go if he was walking, right? And that also contains startup and recovery frames. So keep that in mind, but it can be canceled into a block. Being that we're on a topic of dashing, guys, I want to move on to a more advanced version of dashing, which is wave dashing. Now, wave dashing is the art of your character canceling his or her dash into another dash. Now, let me get into the art of how you perform this. Now, this is the general way I prefer to wave dash that I use in tournament and in casual play, and I'm very consistent at doing it. So, let me teach you guys. I use L and M. L and M, why? Because I prefer that if I did mess up my dash, that I not get an H, for those of you who use all 3 buttons or M and H. Now, with this, you want to press L and M, and your character will perform his or her dash. And you press down, which puts your character into a crouch animation, and when that happens, your character will stop his or her dash. Now, after that happens, you release the joystick to neutral and perform the dash again. So what should be happening on your hands, on your joystick, is dash, down, dash, down, dash, down, or for a better lack of words, dash, down, release, dash, down, release, dash, down, release. Now, you can actually go into training mode and try that out. Don't get over anxious and try to do it as fast as you see some of these other top players do. Practice is slow. It's the way I learned it. You practice it slow until your muscle memory can do it at any given point you want it to. Now, there are some other dashes for you guys who are not so well with the joysticks. It's called peeling dashing. Now, if you check out this video behind me, you'll see the motion for this has nothing to do with the joystick. It's actually followed by buttons being peel-linked, aka carried behind each other, LMH. Now, the motion for this is LMH, LMH, and the game will register it as, hey, he's pressing L. But wait, he pressed the M too close behind it. Is he trying to dash? Yes, he is. Oh, wait, he's pressing H now. Is he trying to dash? I'm not sure. I'm going to give him a dash. So that's actually what the game is registering in its head, LMH. If you guys want to further test that in training mode, feel free to, but that basically is wave dashing in a nutshell. All right, guys, so for our next topic on our agenda today, we have jumping. Now, there are 2 types of jumps that you're going to be utilizing in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That is a normal jump and a super jump. A normal jump can be performed by simply tapping up on a joystick or holding up on a joystick. A super jump, not so easy. You actually have to tap down up, and you'll notice that your character super jumps into the sky above normal jump height and activates what I like to call fly screen. Now, the difference between a normal jump and a super jump and how that would benefit you as using one as opposed to the other is that a normal jump, you can still call out an assist while normal jumping, as where a super jump you couldn't. And when you're super jumping, you're actually able to perform air actions a lot earlier than you would as opposed to a normal jump. Why? Because a super jump accelerates into the air faster and gets to the point of where a character can do an air action earlier based on frames than a normal jump would. Now, also keep in mind that there are characters that don't only have one jump after either normal jumping or super jumping. Some characters have a double and triple jump. This can be performed by, if you are normal jumping, tapping up, and then tapping up simply on the stick again after your character has reached normal jump height. For super jumping, same thing. After you've pressed down, up, and you've taken into the sky and activated fly screen, you can just simply tap up again. That's either up back, up neutral, or up forward, and your character will perform his or her normal triple or double jump. And that's jumping in a nutshell for you guys. Okay guys, so for our next topic of the day, we're gonna discuss air dashing. Now, let's break down air dashing. Now, air dashing entails that your character can perform a dash while they're in jump or super jump mode, whatever, however you got up there. Maybe you got launched up there, whatever. Now, once your character performs this air dash, they cannot block. Take note of that. That's very important. Once you commit to the air dash, you cannot block. You can only block after it's done. That's the recovery animations I was talking about, unless you perform an attack to cancel it, or, well, you can't do much of anything else. But anyways, I also want to note that you notice that Magneto can dash in any direction he wants, right? And Storm, and even Trish. That's called an 8-way dash. That's a 360 field of direction that they can dash in. And you'll notice some characters like Zero and Dante cannot. And boo-hoo for them, but too bad. But I do note that characters with an air dash in general are more superior, in my opinion, to the other general cast that do not have an air dash. Now, with that, you might be wondering, he just mentioned Trish, Magneto, Storm, and sometimes I see these characters flying all over the place. Well, guess what? Let's get into flight mode. I'll explain that for you right now. All right, guys, so welcome back, and our next topic is flight mode. Now, flight mode is literally a state where your character can fly around as much as he or she desires within a certain amount of frames, not time. Keep that in mind. Now, most people's flight modes are activated by quarter circle back S, except for MODOK, who just gets to press up. Now, because you have an unlimited amount of air actions, that does include air dashing. Now, let me lay down some ground rules before I tell you how to do an air wave dash, which is pretty cool because you have an unlimited amount of air actions. Now, you still cannot block in flight mode, and you still can't block during the dash in flight mode, but what you do get is more mobility. Why? Because of the unlimited amount of actions that you get. Now, during flight mode, the way you would perform an air wave dash is, unlike a ground wave dash, you're actually canceling the dash into a different direction other than the direction you were going in. If you try to cancel into one direction multiple times, it will not work. So let me give you an example. I want you guys to go into training mode with Magneto, cut on his flight mode, which is quarter circle back S, just to remind you, right? Go into air, you're already gonna be in air, and go up forward, L and M, the technique I would apply, right? And then do down forward L and M, and then cancel immediately back into up forward L and M, and you'll notice Magneto perform a zigzag formation. You can go in any direction you so please, as long as the direction is not the same one that you previously chose before, and that is how you air wave dash.
What is a wall jump?
A wall jump is a particular type of jump given to certain characters, I guess once again for balance issues. It's simply just where your character clings to the wall for a second and they're able to jump off the wall, obviously in the opposite direction of the wall. And that is it, that's simple.
What is a tri-jump?
All right, a tri-jump is a technique that players created where they jump with a character and they utilize the character's air dash to cancel their acceleration of their elevation and bring them back down to the ground faster than what most people can react to. Take, for example, Magneto. You'll always see a Magneto player jump up forward and then attack down forward, probably with his low kick attack, and this will either cause an overhead or he'll touch the ground and go low, and you have to guess because it's too fast to react to. So that's what tri-jumps are, and that's what they're used for.
Why should I wave dash?
Wave dashing is really, really important in Ultimate Mars Capcom 3. I know this because it's one of the techniques I pride myself on because I have a perfect wave dash. Well, anyway, it's important because it gets you from point A to point B a whole lot faster than anything else you're doing, unless the character has a teleport or flight mode and you choose to use that. But still, you still need wave dashing for general ground movement because it makes your character faster on the ground. Very, very important. I want you guys to practice your wave dash. All right, guys, that does it for part 5 of the Ultimate Marvelous Cat on 3 Babies guide, presented to you by yours truly, FingerCramp. Well, besides that, I want you guys to look out for a lot of big news coming out from FingerCramp. Follow us on Twitter and also like us on Facebook. We'll have the news spread out there. But tune into the next guide we have coming out. Well, I'll be discussing all those meters and HUDs on the screen. Your life bar, time, even X Factor. So keep on a lookout for that. Don't forget what I said. Keep a lookout for FingerCramp. We're gonna do something big soon. If you guys don't watch out, you're gonna miss out. See you guys later.